meeting to order. Item A is the roll call. We call for the roll, please.
Danielle McKenzie.
Here.
Jason Blair. Melissa Hunt.
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item C is a presentation by the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group of accreditation credentials of the Oklahoma Association of Chiefs of Police to the City of Moore Police Department for completion of the Oklahoma Law Enforcement Accreditation Program.
I'm going to lower this just a little bit, all right? Thank you for allowing me to speak to you all this evening. My name is Kevin McCullough. I'm the chair of the Oklahoma Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, and it's my honor to make this presentation this evening. The Oklahoma Law Enforcement Accreditation Program is made up of national best practices that law enforcement agencies choose to adhere to. And the commission comes into a law enforcement agency and examines the operation of police departments, law enforcement agencies. And Moore Police Department Todd and his group chose to have their operation examined by outside subject matter experts, and this took place several months ago. And the Moore Police Department, the City of Moore, the Moore Police Department, and the members of the Moore Police Department attained the status of accreditation through the program. So it's at this time that I would like to present a leadership certificate to Chief Todd Gibson, a leadership certificate to Lieutenant Kevin Brown, and accreditation credentials to the Moore Police Department. So I'll ask these guys to come up, and I'd like to present these to you all. This is for Chief Gibson. Thank you, sir. Are we going to pose? All right, here we go.
Never done that before.
All right, and this is a certificate for Lieutenant Kevin Brown. Todd didn't do all the work. He ordered Lieutenant Brown to do all the work. So Todd is a very sharp individual. He knows how to do it. So congratulations. And this is hopefully the credentials that Moore Police Department will display with pride within their facilities. So.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to segue before we step down. This is Lieutenant Brown. He is amazing. This was about a 3-year project for him, so it wasn't easy. We are presenting him tonight, he didn't know this, with a meritorious service medal for his work. So you can step up here and accept that, and take and shake. We'll let this body do its business.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Gibson and Lieutenant Brown, for your leadership in the police department and everything you guys do for us. Item D is a proclamation declaring April 9th through 15th, 2023 as the National Telecommunicator Week in the City of Moore. And I have a proclamation here. Is there anyone that's here to receive it, or? Chief Gibson. Chief Gibson, okay.
All that too, sir.
All right. And I'll read it here. Whereas in 1991, congressional resolution named the second full week of April of every year the National Telecommunicator Week, and whereas emergencies can occur at any time or any place and require the assistance of the police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas 911 is the hotline for help for many people in emergency situation, and the 911 call taker's voice is the first assurance that help is on the way. And whereas 911 professionals regularly meet the challenges of extremely stressful situations with calmness and efficiency, and whereas when the emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of these emergency responders is dependent upon the quality of and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the 911 Communications Center, and whereas public safety dispatchers are the 911 dispatchers, everyday superheroes, providing assistance before any other emergency vehicles arrive on the scene, and whereas public safety dispatchers are a vital link for emergency responders by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety, and whereas the public safety dispatchers contribute substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of injuries and illnesses on a daily basis, whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of his or her daily job duties. Now therefore, Glenn Lewis, the mayor of City Moore, I on his behalf hereby proclaim the week of April 9th through 15th, 23 as the National Telecommunicator Week in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our region, citizens, and emergency responders safe.
Another picture.
Thanks.
Vice Mayor, if I may, Council, Director Tammy Cohen is not here tonight, but really she is the superstar of all the work that we've been doing and the changes that we've been making in our Emergency Communications Center. She's an amazing employee. We're lucky to have her. Anyone of staff that has interacted with her and knows her knows just how important she is and how great she is for 911 communications and for the city of Moore. But this also we couldn't achieve the things that we're achieving in our communication center without the cooperation and the support of the city manager and Fire Chief Herbster. Chief Herbster and his staff are also strongly involved, along with the city manager, in making sure that Director Cohen has the resources she needs and that we are being successful. So thank you.
Very good.
Thanks. Item 2 is the consent docket. Item A, approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 20th, 2023. Item B, accept public storm sewer improvements to serve First United Bank, being south of Southwest 4th Street and west of I-35 Service Road, application by United Bank. Item C, accept public water line improvements to serve the Highland East Junior High, being south of Southeast 4th Street and west of Bryant Road, application by Moore Public Schools. Item D, accept public water line improvements to serve the North Shields Industrial Park, being south of Northwest 27th Street and east of Shields Boulevard, application by Will Sulins. Item E, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for fiscal year 22 through 23 in the amount of $5,108,252.06.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion?
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes, item passes. Item 3, consider authorizing the budgeted purchase of 3 2023 Harley-Davidson police motorcycles from Fort Thunder Harley-Davidsons of Moore in the amount of $13,992 with the trade-in of 3 2022 Harley-Davidson police motorcycles.
Vice Mayor, Council, I apologize for again taking up your time, but I do appreciate it. This is our annual replacement of motorcycles with a partnership that we have with Harley-Davidson, Fort Thunder Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. However, in addition to the partnership, it was the lowest and best bid for the city. We received 3 quotes. This was the lowest and best for the city and continues our standard year-to-year replacement. Recommend approval.
I'll make a motion, then we approve the item.
Second.
Would anybody like to speak to this item? Will you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes. Item passes. Item 4, consider authorizing the budgeted purchase of a ULT 2152 reflective graphics kit from Graphics Shop as a sole source provider in the amount of $26,300 for the marking of 32 police vehicles.
Vice Mayor and Council, these are part of the graphics kits for the new police cars that will be coming in that we'll order off of the ARPA funds. It is a change in the graphics, however, the change of the graphics is not as important as the financial savings. We had budgeted approximately $45,000 for this, and this will save us roughly 50% per car. So it's a more contemporary design, but it's also going to be a cheaper design for the city to maintain and update. So we recommend approval.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 5, consider approval of Amendment 1 in the amount of $19,012.50 to the contract with Mishek and Associates for additional engineering services on the North Fork Little River Erosion Control Project located southeast 4th and Bryan Avenue.
Vice Mayor and Council, this particular amendment is a result of, we originally were going to just design the the west side of the channel at, near 4th Street in Bryant. And along with that, we are rerouting the roadway a little bit to the west. And we received a call to look at, from a gentleman who lives on the east side, and we went out and looked at that area, and there was some additional channel erosion that was occurring, so we just went ahead and are incorporating that into this design for the overall project. While we're there, we might as well do both. We're going to do about 200 linear feet of erosion control on the east side of the channel, and would recommend that, approval of that.
And that's directly north of Southeast 4th Street?
Yes.
Where it connects?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 6, consider approval of Amendment 4 in the amount of $22,000 with Barrett L. Williamson Architects Incorporated for the architectural and engineering services to design a barn for short-term holding of livestock, including horses, pigs, goats, as part of the new animal welfare facility.
This is an addition to the new animal welfare facility. We are going to add a metal building, pre-engineered metal building in the southeast corner of the site to be able to handle some of these larger animals that will receive for short periods of time. The work that is included in it, because the area was so tight in the southeast corner, and the entire site is pretty well utilized, almost 100%. We have to do a little bit of engineering of some of the ancillary, like the incinerator and some of those facilities, to be able to fit this on the site. It is going to require work from the architect himself and the civil engineer, structural engineer, because there is a big drop-off at that location. We're going to be looking at probably a little bit of a retaining wall. And then electrical and mechanical engineering. And the building itself is going to have indoor stalls and feed storage area. We have to provide a little water and a fire hydrant to that area as part of the design. And there's going to be a high-volume, low-speed fan for interior ventilation during the hot weather to be able to keep everything, keep the animals cool, utility lighting, and so forth. And so with that, we would recommend approval of the.
You'll be putting some places for chickens? That's going to come back before us.
Yeah, I
We should
suppose.
It's an
consider-
ag
y'all
barn.
should consider
Yeah.
it.
It's an ag
Even
barn.
if it's an ag barn,
It's
I
an
would
ag
assume
barn.
it could
Yeah,
house
we
them,
could-
correct?
Well, but chickens take special
Yeah,
provisions that pigs
yeah.
and horses don't take, so.
This is mainly for the larger horses and cattle, pigs, things of that nature. But
Won't have chickens on it.
I'm sure that we could make adjustments with the facilities that we have.
It would just be something to think about in
Yeah,
the event
sure.
that were to pass, what are we going to do with them? We held off on making a decision until this facility was built, so
Yeah.
I've heard from people and they're going to bring it back before
Right.
us.
Um,
Depending-
100%.
It depends what we'll do.
Okay.
We have one person signed up to speak. Would you like to speak And just as a reminder for all more citizens, we encourage you and hope you show up to our council meetings, but as you come to the podium, all citizens just be advised to state your name, address, and be reminded there's a 5-minute time limit for each item number. So thank you. Patrice Williams, thank you.
Patrice Williams, 1061 Northwest 6th Street. I have an issue with this one because when we voted for the new animal welfare facility, none of this was mentioned. We voted on something, and our vote should count. And I know they're wanting to do now more stuff, but that's not what we voted on. We voted on a certain thing. There was a big proposal about it on the internet, you know, what it's gonna look like, what it's gonna do. Said nothing about this. We don't have horses, pigs, and goats and more. We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to have a chicken. Now, I know some outskirts are grandfathered in. But I 100% do not agree with this for that reason. We need to be transparent, more needs to be transparent to our citizens. And we're not being, if we're gonna add to something we've already voted on. So that's,
Are there areas zoned in more that are allowed to have livestock, correct?
Well, and John Fryer's back there and ask him to come up and fill in the blanks that I left. But this issue came up. There was an accident on I-35 that happened here recently, and we ended up having to take possession for a period of time a couple of horses, I believe. And so the thinking for this is these things happen from time to time, and while they're not allowed within the city, we have to do something with them. And so this allows us to place them somewhere that's safe until they can be returned to their owner or to someone else that will take care of them. And so, I mean, that's the motivation behind this.
And I know
Okay,
we had some savings when we went with construction management. Would this put us over budget for what the bond was, or would this still be within budget?
I think we're still within budget.
And just to note, what we advertised, and I'm going to go ahead and read this from our website that we published in 2021, I'd have to, before the GEO bond went out, it was to take in homeless, abandoned, injured, and sick animals in need, including cats, dogs, rabbits, other small mammals, reptile, birds, farm animals, and wildlife within the city of Moore. So while we didn't detail everything about the build, we usually don't, but we are within proposal and within all the things that we stated. And I'm happy, this is on the city of Moore's website still, issue 9 to 2021.
And we're still within the budget.
Still
that we
within budget,
passed.
and we're not adding anything that we didn't state in that, that flyer that we put out and published.
And in the instance of a tornado or anything like that, we could have those animals within our city limits and that sort of an event. And this would be a place to house them. Would you like to speak as well?
Well, yes, it's being proactive for the city to take on disasters. And we do border up against Oklahoma City and Norman, and they do have agriculture, and we do get called out on horses. We do get called out on cows out. Recently, last week, we had goats, and we just have nowhere to house them, so.
And as we learned, we are allowed to have pigs in the city of Moore, so pigs are.
Yeah, and we do have a couple owners for that too, and we just have nowhere to put them until we can't, sometimes we don't have an owner, and we just have nowhere to take them.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.
And I think, like I said, the biggest thing is that we're still within budget for what we asked the citizens for, and so therefore I don't have an
And this
issue.
does fulfill our obligation that was proposed to house farm animals in the event, which was we are obligated to do under the confines of the bond presented to the people.
I don't think you've used 5 minutes yet.
Yeah, there's another minute left.
Yeah, if you'd like to.
I looked at the proposals before I came tonight. I didn't see what she had, so I'm not saying it's not there, I didn't see it. I did hear Mr. Mitchell's commentary on it, and none of that was listed. It said cats and dogs. So we need to do better and get it all together instead of some person saying this, another part of it being over here. It all needs to be in one part. We, as citizens, we shouldn't have to search around to find what we need or want to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call on the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 7, consider authorizing staff to solicit requests for proposals for qualified mowing contractors to perform code enforcement abatement services.
Vice Mayor and Council, this item is to request the council to allow staff to solicit qualifications from mowing contractors to add to our team of abatement contractors. So the city currently has an abatement contractor for trash and one for mowing, but based on our mowing load from last year, we do think we would benefit from having another mowing contractor on board. So that would give us 2, which would allow us to get to those abatements quicker than in the past.
And just so I'm clear, this will be for residential lawns, or I guess even businesses that haven't mowed?
Yes. So what we've done, which is a little bit different from how we've historically done it, but we've been doing it this way for probably about 5 years or more. We charge mowing fees by how big the lot is. So regardless of whether it's residential or commercial, we look at the acreage of the lot, and that's what we base our fee on. And so the contractors who would be submitting their qualifications have seen this price list, and they agree to adhere by that price list.
How successful are we at collecting those fees?
We are very successful.
Good.
If we are not able to collect them, we do file liens on the property. So when the property is sold or they pay their taxes at the end of the year, they're required to pay those off.
Very good. Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes?
Danielle McKenzie,
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 8,
Elizabeth, I'm sorry, I had one follow-up question that wouldn't have changed my vote, but when do we release that RFQ? And when do we expect to get responses back?
We will start to release that immediately, starting tomorrow. It doesn't go through the exact same process as an RFQ that we would typically see for like engineering services, but we do publish it, and we would expect probably within the next month or 2 to come back to you with a contract.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Item 8, consider approval of a professional service agreement with Garver LLC for an on-demand plan review engineering services.
Vice Mayor and Council, this item is to add another review engineer to our team of review engineers. We currently have Mishek and Associates doing our review for drainage projects. And that has worked out very well, except for the fact that we underestimated the amount of drainage projects we're getting for review. Now that we have extended our drainage requirements to 1 acre and more, we have gotten quite a few more projects coming in. We had quite the backlog not too long ago of review projects. We did reach out to Garver. They are familiar with the drainage criteria and also work closely with Mishek on other projects, so they're aware of how we do our reviews. They've been a great help in helping us clear out that backlog, and we feel that it would be beneficial to have them on the review team moving forward so we can divvy up the projects to the different engineers.
And this is on demand, right?
This is on demand, so if we don't have any demand, then we don't pay any money for reviews.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes?
Danielle McKenzie. Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 9, consider approval of ordinance number 102123, amending Part 12, Chapter 2, Article A, Section 12-206E for the Moore Land Development Code by removing automobile sales from the definition of automotive and equipment light and automotive and equipment heavy, use unit classifications, removing boats from the automotive sales and rentals light, use unit classification, providing for severability, and providing for repealer.
Vice Mayor and Council, this item is primarily a housekeeping item. We have had some some proposed businesses come up, and as we've been doing research on where they can locate, we noticed that we did have some duplications in uses that were allowed under certain use unit classifications. And in some, we had some uses that were classified as heavy and then also as light, so it was a conflict. This is all within the automotive use unit classifications. The language that you have in your packet would clean this up, so everything would comply with how we've been doing things over the past 20 years and making sure that we don't have conflicts within city code.
So the automotive and equipment light is more for like maintenance and that type of stuff, and not
Correct.
specifically sales?
Yes, and that's how it was always meant to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what happened in the past on this, but over the past 20 years, we've always administered it, the zoning as such.
Okay.
So this was really just an oversight that we just now caught.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We call for the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes?
Adam Webb?
Yes, item passes. Item 10, consider approval of ordinance number 1022-23, amending Part 12, Chapter 4, Article H, Section 12-461 of the Moore Land Development Code by defining the procedure and for obtaining a special use permit and permitting additional restrictions at the time of approval, and amending Section 12-462F by placing limitations on the number of automobiles that may be displayed for sale on a lot, providing for severability and providing for a repealer.
Vice Mayor and Council, this ordinance is clarifying our special use permit option is for the zoning classifications. These special use permits are really meant for just specific things, things like bed and breakfast, manufactured homes, mixed use. These are items or uses that would not be allowed typically, but could be allowed if they met certain conditions. The changes in front of you really just define the procedure. It does allow council to place additional restrictions on each particular application that comes in front of you based on the location or other defining features of that particular application. It also goes to amend the specialty automotive special use permit where council can specifically limit how many autos are displayed for sale at a time. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So would these changes also allow the planning commission some of that leeway also?
Yes, yes.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes, item passes. Item 11, consider approval of ordinance number 1023-23, amending Part 12, Chapter 14, Article A, for the Land Development Code by adding Section 12-1404, defining applicability of stormwater quality requirements for construction activities, providing for severability and providing for a repealer.
This ordinance is being requested by DEQ. There is a new permit out that specifies what the city must do for stormwater quality within the city. And one of the new requirements is to be more specific in what projects your stormwater quality ordinances apply to. And the DEQ wanted to make for certain that we had this in our ordinance, which is that this would apply to any construction site that is greater than or equal to 1 acre, or any construction sites that are less than an acre, if it is part of a larger common plan of development or sale, which will ultimately disturb land of greater than 1 acre. I will say that we already do this in practice. We just did not have it in our ordinance, so we're happy to update the ordinance to say that.
So we're updating the ordinance, not the practice or the
That's
policy or
correct.
anything? Okay.
That's correct.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Okay, here, oh, I'm sorry.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 12, consider utilizing the Silver Star construction contract for the budgeted construction of concrete pads for new dumpsters at Little River Park South, Fairmore Park, Parmalee Park, and Buck Thomas Park in the amount of $26,707.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is, item number 12 and 13 are associated together. They are to create concrete pads for dumpsters and then fencing around the dumpsters. That's going to be replacing the Public Works picking up the
Poly carts?
poly carts right now. That, instead of doing that, we'll be using nicer, newer trash containers that staff will be emptying and then using the dumpsters for
Yeah,
that.
that'll look better, especially at Buck Thomas. They've just got
Yes.
20 of them.
I saw them flying across Veterans
going
Park
to
the other day,
replace
so this will
all
be
of
good.
those.
Yeah.
So the enclosures that we're talking about building, nobody's gonna have to get out and open gates and stuff?
The-
It'll be accessible without that?
The dumpster company does get out, they have a key, and they unlock those.
As long as that's part of the
Mhm,
deal?
It's part of it.
Okay.
Recommend approval.
I would make a motion that we approve the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 13, consider approval of a contract with Legacy Landscaping and Fencing for the budgeted construction of fences around the perimeter of the concrete pads to be located at Little River Park South, Fairmore Park, Parmalee Park, and Buck Thomas Park in the total amount of $21,024 is the lowest, most responsible quote.
Make a motion that we approve the item.
Second.
Somebody signed up.
We have one person sign up to speak. Would you like to speak? Oh, okay. We have one motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 14, consider renewal of a contract with HJ Innovations LLC, doing business as computer systems designers, to provide security officers at the station.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is just a renewal of our regular security.
Okay?
And we just, security, but we utilize police officers, right?
We
Off-duty
utilize
police officers?
police officers, and it's scheduled at high-profile times in the evening and on weekends.
And just so the council, just to remind the council, the entity is run by Captain Keith Tolles of our police department. So even though the name suggests something else, it is for, they're the conduit to do all the payroll and all that stuff for the security officers.
Okay.
And it's definitely made a difference having that presence out there, so. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We call for the vote, please.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. Item 15, consider renewal of a contract with ARC Pyrotechnics for the city's annual 4th of July and Christmas Spectacular Show displays in the total budgeted amount of $58,500.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is our renewal of our contract that we have used the last several years. ARC Pyrotechnics is the company that usually provides our awesome fireworks display. Recommend approval.
I just have one quick question. Do you, after the Christmas spectacular and the issue with the fireworks, do we have something in place in the contract that, to ensure that the show can go on even if, I'm not exactly sure of all the details, but I thought someone had got hurt and we weren't able to do it?
It was a timing issue because of the holiday. It would be renewed on the 4th of July. This one is particularly for the 4th of July, and they would reschedule that.
Well, okay. Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Councilman Ham, in the contract, there's a rain day for the 4th of July event, and then there's if for some reason we're unable to do the Christmas Spectacular on the scheduled day, we've got a window to reschedule it within 10 days of that. So.
But we didn't, right? Correct?
We didn't this past time just because they had a staffing issue after the injury, so.
And so I think you're asking because of payment, like,
Well, my,
We didn't pay them.
we didn't pay,
oh,
right?
but can they have additional staffing? I mean, I'm sorry that somebody got hurt, but you have 15,000 people or whatever the number was, can they,
Yeah.
can we ensure that in the event that something like that happens, they can get another person in to, or have enough adequate staffing to still do the show?
We'll be happy to have that discussion with them, but
Okay.
last year was the first time anything had
Yeah.
ever happened to them, so I'm sure they have contingency plans in place now.
They've been talking to us about that.
Okay, great, thank you. Make a motion to approve the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We call for the vote, please.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. We'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 16 is the consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held March 20th, 23.
15.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys, we do.
Yeah.
we do
I
have
saw the chief and I
15.1.
was like, what?
Thank you for bringing it to my attention. We do have amendment for 15.1. We'll consider amending the previously authorized purchase of 13 Harris XL 95P portable radios and accessories from L3 Harris in the previously approved amount of $40,427.40 as the lowest written quote instead of utilizing Sourcewell contract number 042021.
Yeah, Vice Mayor and Council, sorry to sneak that in on you.
That's
and
all
make
right.
it difficult there. This item was previously approved on March 6th. There was confusion between me and the salesman. The dollar amount you approved of $40,427 is appropriate. I put down the Sourcewell contract, which was not correct. The City of Norman contract was 4% cheaper than the Sourcewell contract, so I just need approval to switch the contract to the City of Norman for that price, which saves us 4%.
But it's the same price that we
Same exact
approved, yeah.
price, yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We call for the vote, please. Thank you.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, and now we will recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 16 is the consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held March 20th, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for fiscal year 22 through 23 in the amount of $117,313.61.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes, item passes. We'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 17 is the consent docket. Item A, accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held March 20th, 2023. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for fiscal year 22 through 23 in the amount of $237,769.58.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Danielle McKenzie.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes. Item passes. We'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and reconvene the city council meeting. Item 18 is new business. Item A, citizens forum for items not on the agenda, and we do have someone signed up to speak. Patrice Williams. And just as a reminder to all citizens, again, just state your name, address for the record, and then just a 5-minute time limit on there.
Patrice Williams, 1061 Northwest 6th Street. I found out something this week that upset me. And I go back to, I feel like it's being hidden from the public and or citizens, the voters, and I don't think it should be. It really bothers me that Adam Webb is the account manager for Republic. And we did no bids on that before we put it to the vote of the people. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. I'm saying we, the people, need to know about that because it looks bad. It looks really bad to me. And it would if anybody did it. So y'all have got to be more transparent with us because y'all have to be transparent with us and what's going on.
So I understand the concern. If I can add in on this, I think there's probably a common, there's a common thought that this is our full-time job. I know you're here often, so I don't think that but I do think that sometimes the majority of people call us in the middle of the day and expect that we're at City Hall. I have to pay my bills. I get paid about $100 a month after taxes. I can assure you it doesn't cover my water bill for being here. On the Republic, we have bid that out several times, and I'm sure we could get you that data. But on any vote related to the Republic, Adam has abstained.
He did.
He's
He did
completely
say-
outside of the
yes, he did.
conversation every single time. Even if I want to pick his brain outside of this, he is very good at being diplomatic. So I understand that concern. I do want to make sure that's very clear to everyone, though. So if you'd like the data on us bidding out other companies, because we have bid them out in the past. When we first went to the thought for recycling, I know Republic is I think the only bid that's still standing. Is that correct? Because some of them, their bids expired. Which basically meant they promised us a certain price for only a certain period of time, and we've extended past that period. I don't remember if Republic was the cheapest. I think they still were previously, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, and I'm not saying he's doing anything. I don't want to sound like that. I just think the people need to be aware, because it does look
I
bad.
appreciate you bringing it up. It's not an intentional secret. There are plenty of people, I think almost every city employee probably knows, and multiple of my constituents, that was the situation before I ever came on council. Republic had that relationship. The city had that relationship with Republic Services.
And you didn't even work for them at that time.
Right.
Yeah, and so I, many people are aware, I've signed paperwork with our city attorney present that I'll never have any conversations on either side. Allied Waste is actually a huge company that I actually work for, and Republic is owned by them. And there are several divisions and entities, and I work with small business owners. It's no affiliation to any type of municipal agreements or anything to that nature.
Yeah, and I'm not
We
saying you're doing
go,
anything
we go
wrong.
under a pretty strict,
All of us.
constrictions that we don't do any competitive thing. I
Do
mean,
what?
if we sign an agreement that says we can't do anything that makes us in a position where we could profit from it. Everybody up here signs one of those. And that's common knowledge. It's available for anybody to see. So while I understand what you're saying, we've not done anything to hide it, and your concern is unwarranted, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it's
I don't think we.
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I don't think that we all sit up here every day and say, I'm a mom, I sit on the Moore High School Booster Club, and I work for another government entity, I work for the federal government. I don't think we all say that every day. I think it's unnecessary, but if you were to look at anything on our social media pages, or even probably on our introduction page, you might find that information.
Yeah, it's on LinkedIn. It's public that I'm on this
I don't look at
council.
everybody's.
But also,
I
but
know, I'm
also-
just saying, I don't think
I know,
anyone's
But
hiding
just
it.
I don't
also
do it.
just as another layer of peace of mind, Allied Waste and Republic themselves had me sign information stating I would not speak with their employees about matters any related to the city's business arrangements with them.
You said they took bids on this recycling?
I think we did originally when we first looked at it. I don't remember exactly. I was looking
There
to
may,
Brooks.
there may have been bids taken in 2016.
That, yes, in
But
2016.
they haven't been done since
The,
2016. and
the
what's
last
changed?
time, this time, as has been discussed many times in open meetings, this is considered an add-on service, and so this is why we were able to get the price that we've got from Republic, and the council has chosen to put it on the ballot, so we'll find out May the 9th.
I understand that. But you're the very one that told us you didn't take bids.
Right, that's what you just said.
We took bids in
I-
2016.
I think that's wrong, but it's already done, and I'm not saying, Adam, that you're doing anything wrong, I'm not. But it really is all over Facebook saying that it looks bad. So I thought I'd bring it to your attention because.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, I don't think so.
And we've had other council that have been involved in real estate, commercial real estate, and home
Or
builders.
insurance.
Insurance,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not.
I think many of us do things that's why we're up here, because we care about the city and what happens next. I signed something on both sides here, and I signed something at my full-time job that says it's not a conflict of interest because I promised to do X, Y, and Z. Not as in-depth as Allied, but yes, still the same.
All right, anybody else would like to speak? Item B is items for the city council and trustees. Item C is items from the city manager and trust manager.
Continuing to work on the budget for fiscal year '24, and we'll be scheduling individual meetings with council members later this month.
All right, item 19 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Will you call for the vote, please?
Danielle McKenzie?
Yes.
Jason Blair? I'm sorry, Melissa Hunt?
Yes.
Louis Williams?
Yes.
Mark Ham?
Yes.
Adam Webb?
Yes. Meeting adjourned. So do I need to